Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast, the number one source for news, analysis, and discussion on the Detroit Red Wings, the NHL, and all things hockey. Here are your hosts, Ryan Hanna, Brad Crisco, and Evan Lopsinger.
Again, whenever the Red Wings win, the content has less and less pressure. We could do nothing other than just crack open these 3 bottles in front of us and just sip on those all episode, and that would be, I think, it would capture the vibes of this team right now.
One of these days we will. It'll be either because the Red Wings have made the playoffs or we're starting prospect profiles in January.
I don't want to hear prospect profiles right now. Five straight wins, vibes are unbelievable. Although there is one bad thing for you specifically right now, Evan.
The lack of sleep I have in my life.
Even worse than the woes of brand new fatherhood, as congratulations on bringing Sullivan home, by the way.
I don't know why people congratulate people for that sort of thing. I'm dying.
So, I was like, it's a momentous occasion. And then I've seen the pain in your eyes and yeah, maybe I should have. In any case, even worse for you than your lack of sleep for the next forever is
18 years.
Yeah, is that your title as Lobstradamus is being challenged.
Oh my God, this guy.
It's not just me though, because I made the unbelievable bang on call of ASP's first career goal. You know, if you're going to call that out, but not just me. I got shown up even by Max. Max's preseason prediction was that the Red Wings would win 5 of their first 6.
That is incredible.
You're falling behind, pal.
Well, my brain's not really working right now, so it's not my fault. Well, I guess it kind of is, but not totally.
Half, at least, I'll tell you. Evan's brain doesn't even process the present right now. The future is absolutely on hold.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry. Max and I are lifting that trophy for you at the moment. Max doing a little bit heavier of a lift than me. Like I said, the vibes are through the roof. Let's get right into it, folks. Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast, here to talk to you about all things Detroit Red Wings hockey, 5 straight wins, the world of the NHL, and lots more. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Hanna.
I'm Brad Crisco.
And I'm Evan.
This episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast is presented by Greenlight Lending. Red lights are meant for lighting the lamp at the rink, not your home ownership goals. Head to gogreenlightlending.com today for creative mortgage solutions with flexible closing cost options. Licensed only in Michigan, NMLS 2676683, an equal housing opportunity lender and proud sponsor of the Winged Wheel Podcast. On this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast, Detroit's 4th and 5th straight wins are going to be covered. All the ins and outs from those extremely exciting games, injury updates for Lucas Raymond and Patrick Kane, trade rumors surrounding the Red Wings right now, incredible stats for some Red Wings rookies, things from around the league, and lots more before we jump into overtime. Very quickly, Winged Wheel Podcast night at the LCA. If you are dying to jump into the action at the LCA and feel the excitement that all the fans are feeling in person, no better game to do that than Saturday, November 15th, Detroit against Buffalo. wingedwheelpodcast.com/Red Wings to get your tickets. It's not only tickets to the Red Wings game at a discounted rate, you also get a special co-branded Detroit Red Wings and Winged Wheel Podcast Centennial-themed blanket. You also get access to our pregame live recording the Winged Wheel Podcast at Little Caesars Arena, featuring Ken Daniels, Rob Ray, and other special guests, a meet and greet, merch, giveaways, all that and lots more. And every ticket bought represents a donation to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. So again, wingedwheelpodcast.com/Red Wings. Vibes are through the roof. And if you told me that the Red Wings went into the Tampa Bay game without Lucas Raymond and the Edmonton game without Patrick Kane, I would have told you I would have taken one win, or even just a single point wouldn't have been completely unexpected. And here we are 2 wins later, 5 straight, 5-1, top of the Atlantic. Let's start with the Tampa Bay game. And that was an impressive showing for the first 40 minutes, an extremely, extremely impressive showing. Thoughts overall on that game before we jump into the very exciting parts leading with ASP.
Yeah, I don't want to say dominant over Tampa in the first 2 periods, but very much controlled the pace of play. Only allowed 11 shots. You know, it was clinical. It was what you want to see from a team on the rise, where it's like, can you take a good team like Tampa and not just show that you can hang, because that feels like that's been the bar forever and ever. Just can you hang with the good teams? Now the bar's kind of shifted to, can you be better than the good teams for stretches and earn them honestly? Because there's two ways you can be better than the good teams, and the Red Wings experienced both that game. First two periods, they were the better team. They were controlling the play. They were winning races. They were winning battles. They had, a lot of puck possession. The third period, their goalie was better. One of those two things is sustainable.
Yeah.
The other is not. So as much as it's great to see John Gibson have that third period that he had, and, it was a great confidence boost for him, there's probably something to be said about, hey, maybe it's a good thing the Red Wings played that bad in the third period, because it's well worth it to give Gibson that boost of confidence this early in the season. But what they were doing in the first two periods felt more sustainable. That looked like the formula to, okay, you want to get in the playoffs and hang with the big boys and beat the big boys? That's what every game has to look like, or that's what 95% of the games have to look like.
It was a really good way of putting it, Brad, to say, like, it's not just enough to hang with the good teams, it's how you're going to be better than them. And that wasn't the first time we saw it this season, but this is the first time in a decade, literally, since we've been able to say, oh, the Red Wings are controlling this aspect of the game multiple times now over a several game stretch. And was it a complete 60? No, but we'll get into that. I'm not so bothered by the fact that they kind of got hemmed in the third. Like, it's still Tampa Bay. Dylan Larkin said in the post game, like, they wish they didn't get that hemmed in, but again, it's Tampa Bay. They're one of the best teams in the league, so you have to expect it to some degree. You're watching the Red Wings figure it out in real time in both Tampa Bay and Edmonton games, which obviously we'll cover in a second here. I think they were dominant. They were stifling. They used really quick feet. They used pressure plays. They didn't let the other team get established, and that was important. Tampa Bay was missing Chiarot, but they still have high-end elite players, and they did that against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and kept McDavid off the board completely. Like, they controlled play and didn't let them get anything going. They didn't let them get a foothold. They didn't let them get established on the road, and that's crucial for Detroit to, one, defend their own barn, and two, hang with teams that might have more firepower. And it's extremely impressive, the overall team defensive game and kind of control of the pace game that we saw from Detroit this past weekend.
Yeah, they're not willing to play the type of game the other team wants. Like, the Red Wings are forcing the issue. They're getting teams to play how Detroit wants them to, and they're finding success. It hasn't been a perfect start to the season, but lately it's, they're figuring out how to win, and it's been really, really fun to watch.
The fun thing to watch that game, as I mentioned in the start of the show here, Axel Sandin-Pellikka's first career NHL goal in the first period from Larkin and Appleton, and one of those shots where he even said, I wasn't sure if it hit someone else, but oh my God, the sheer joy on his face, and everyone around him was happier than even him. Like, that was, Wings fans have been waiting for it. Sandeen Pelikca's been playing great. Finnie's been playing great. Brandsegg-Nygard's been playing great, but it's taken a little while for their firsts to come, and now MBN's the only one left. But it's still, like, it wasn't so much relief, it was just like electricity, excitement. When he scored that goal, that was such a huge, the entire crowd understood the significance of that, and that was it. That was a cool moment to watch play out.
Well, yeah, I loved his little look back at Appleton, kind of like, it was like the initial celebration of the goal, the look at Appleton, and then Appleton's pointing at him, no, man, that's you. And then he turns around, finishes his celly into the glass, and everybody starts jumping. And I know it's such a random thing to remember, but there was that goal actually did give me a really good indication just how maybe the culture finally is changing on this team, because last year, I know a lot of people remember the goal, but not the after. When Marco Kasper scored his first goal, everyone on the ice looked like they didn't give a crap. Like, that was the most muted first goal celebration I had seen in a while. And of course, the Red Wings had a horrible start to last season. They were in the doldrums, et cetera, et cetera. So just to see that everybody on the ice was so fired up when that puck went in, it was almost refreshing to just be like, yeah, that's what that's supposed to feel like. That's what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah. All the hype that exists in, like, Montreal over the last couple of years, or other markets where their young players are part of the success of the team, that's what Detroit is feeling right now. fun to see. And again, Appleton was still in the top line that game. That's because Lucas Raymond was out for his second game as his injury continued against Tampa Bay. He did return against Edmonton. So like we said, Detroit controlled play first 40 minutes. I think Tampa Bay had 11 shots through 2 periods. So Gibson, he made all the saves that he needed to, and there wasn't much else that he could do. He wasn't seeing a lot. And we were expecting a push in the third, and boy, did they get one. I think it was the 18th shot of the third period that went in for Tampa Bay. Not the 18th shot of the game, the 18th shot of the third period alone for Tampa Bay before they finally beat Gibson. They had 19 shots in the third in total. That was a remarkable onslaught by the team. Again, I'm not someone who's like, oh, they didn't play a full 60, and so I'm going to label this a bad effort and shame on them for giving up any ice or territory at all. Like, game effect comes into play. The ice gets tilted. Guys naturally want to defend the lead. They're a little bit more risk averse. We did see too much contraction, though, from the Red Wings. And despite the win that they got against an Atlantic Division opponent, huge 2 points, they are fortunate that John Gibson was up to the task in the third, because I think Tampa Bay played well enough in the third to completely undo what was only a 1-0 lead at that point.
Oh, yeah. That felt like a stolen win just because. What was the expected goals in the third period for Tampa? Wasn't it north of 3?
I think, I saw something, various models, but one of them at least had it over 3.
That's insane. So it wasn't just that Tampa outplayed Detroit. Like, that was just a complete tilting of the ice. And again, good that Gibson gets that confidence and had that performance. And, first game of the season, the Red Wings had to play bad for McLellan to be able to say at the end of the game, are you tired of this yet? Well, the Red Wings have this history of going into a shell, so old habits do die hard.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're going to have something like that happen, better to get it out of the way early in the season, and even better yet to have your goalie bail it out so that lesson doesn't have to be taught in an L.
Again, like, you don't plan for it this way, but that silver lining of Gibson being the hero, that's huge for Detroit. He needed that because that was his first game since being pulled in the home opener. And at that point, his save percentage was literally in the 600s. And not that matters one game into the season, but just to illustrate how bad it was. And not only did he earn that win for the Red Wings, but also earned himself a start in the next game, which, we're going to talk about very, very early results in the standings. If the Red Wings are going to continue to make noise in the standings, it has to be from 2 above average goalies. So the Red Wings head to overtime, and Tampa Bay has an opportunity, and as it always is in 3-on-3 overtime, you don't make your opportunity work, and the puck goes the other way, and there's usually another scoring chance going the other way. Dylan Larkin, in all alone, makes no mistake, and absolutely electric goal to win it for the Red Wings. 2-1 in overtime. What a performance by the captain to call game there.
The randomness and flukiness of hockey, how different is the narrative of the Red Wings? Like, it'd still be good, but how different is the narrative if that Tampa pass doesn't miss the backdoor tap in by half an inch? Instead of Tampa winning that game, and they were a half inch away from doing it, that directly leads to the Dylan Larkin breakaway.
What, like that half inch, and then Leon Draisaitl this game, not, whiffing on the puck when he was in all alone, and you're talking about a difference of 3 points here.
That's hockey, though. The Red Wings historically have been the team to find ways to choke away games like that. So to capitalize on, like, there's mistakes and errors every game, and there's always going to be misses of those fraction of an inch. But if you can capitalize on it when it happens, or you can win that battle where you make less, and these I don't classify as mistakes, but let's call them mistakes for the sake of this point, it goes a long way, because again, they make the playoffs by 1 point. Okay, good. You only needed that one little break, and that was the difference. So it is funny, but yeah, it was great to see Larkin, man. He was at the end of his shift. I didn't know if he was going to make it to the net.
That's one of those.
He was gassed.
He biologically had nothing in him to give him the energy, but the moment fueled him. The hockey gods were like, no, you got to get down the ice for this one, pal. We got a good winning score for you. The start of overtime, Evan, you and I were talking when we were pre-recording some of the bonus episode here. The start of overtime had a really cool thing for the Red Wings, and that was Todd McLellan starting with both ASP and Finnie to start overtime. 3-on-3 overtime is no joke. You can't have liabilities out there, otherwise you'll get burned. And so it's not a news story, but it's the story for the Red Wings right now. And that is the kids aren't just part of the excitement. They are a big reason for the success and the excitement for the Red Wings.
They sent out the youthful legs. They've certainly earned the opportunity to do that. Takes Todd McLellan having confidence in them to do it as well. But nothing's worse than when you're playing in beer league and all of a sudden you see 20-year-olds in your league and you're like, no. It's not fair. You guys have all the youth, all the energy. But hey, it's great to see, like, previous coaching regimes for the Red Wings probably wouldn't even have these players in the lineup, let alone starting overtime against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that, a lot of people thought that they would win the Atlantic Division, and there's still time for that, but that's just the caliber of team that they are. For them to send out 2 rookies in overtime is we're in a good spot.
The level of smugness that is probably going around Red Wings fandom and media and everything without even realizing it, of the 10 years of everybody just yelling at the Blashill and the Loans. We told you could do it. And McLellan's the proof of concept of, the young guys might be bad, but it turns out most of the time they're not. So you could have played them.
In fairness, I think the most rightly smug crowd right now is the wait for the kids crowd, because I don't know that there's been this many NHL-ready kids all at once. There have been years where you're like, they could have brought this guy up sooner or not, but like that's the real, like, how many times have we said it's very rare for an NHL team to fire out 3, 4 plus, rookies or second-year guys and expect to be winning? And the Red Wings are like, that's pretty much our only tack right now, and we're doing it, and we're going to win. We'll take it. John Gibson finishes with 31 of 32 saves. I think over 3 goals saved above expected. Almost 970 save percentage in that game. So nice little flipping of the script there. He just wants to make my preseason prediction come true. And I gotta tell you, man, like, you have to have a great game where you only score 2 goals, but Mickey Redmond ripping sniffing salts between the benches with the boys isn't even the highlight of the night. The Red Wings earned it. What a beaut Mickey is, man. That was so good. What do you say? Oh, my snifter. So that was the win against Tampa Bay. Another Atlantic Division win. That was 4 straight wins for Detroit. Unfortunate storyline. Patrick Kane crashed into the boards end of that game and was ruled out for Sunday against Edmonton pretty much right away. You don't want to see it, but you especially don't want to see it with Lucas Raymond banged up. I dug into that one a little bit, and I don't know, like, there's nothing definitive out there in terms of how long he's going to be hurt, but I don't know that this is going to be necessarily a day-to-day thing. It's still very early, so I caution against saying anything definitive, but I'm keeping an eye on how long Patrick Kane's going to be out here. At his age and with the regular season, being so early, you want to see them play it safe with him because you want as many quality miles from him as you can get. And the Red Wings, hopefully make the playoffs. You want him ready for that too, although that's putting the cart before the horse. But still, hopefully it's not too long. And that was a little bit of a wet blanket over it. So thankfully, the Red Wings heading into the next game then had Lucas Raymond return to the lineup. He was questionable, game time decision, took warm-ups, played the game. And I don't think it's unfair to say that he was still very obviously playing through injury. But even playing through injury and at one point leaving the bench completely, he did come back. He still had a casual 2 assists against the Oilers tonight.
Well, when you have a seasoned veteran superstar line driver opposite you in Emmitt Finnie, it does take the stress off a little bit. So I think Lucas looked across the ice and went, 75% enough tonight.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, a warrior to do it. And obviously, again, like Brad said, the margins are always razor thin in hockey, but you can see, like, Detroit has had 6 games against tough opponents here. And though these wins have been impressive, you don't want to be too far behind, and missing both Kane and Raymond would have been just extremely tough to have dealt with. So Raymond slots into the lineup, and the Red Wings take to the ice with MBN in Patrick Kane's second line spot. First period, again, a lot of what we saw against Tampa Bay. Controlled the play, Larkin, Finnie, Raymond stifling Connor McDavid and co. Like, really were using, again, their quick feet. They were forcing decisions. They were forcing pressure plays. They were not letting Edmonton get anything established. Edmonton's not a team that really gets off to a hot start early in seasons, and it's almost like they were exploiting that fact that they were a little bit in disarray and easy to throw off, which is saying something because they're such a high caliber team. But really liked what I saw for the first 20 minutes for Detroit. And then they were rewarded in the second period twice. First, Ben Chiarot with a filthy saucer pass to Dylan Larkin, who won times at home. Like, Ben Chiarot's had himself a nice few games here. He deserves calling out for that. And then after that, right after that, Emmitt Finnie with his first career NHL goal. Same as ASP, just an electric moment for the LCA crowd.
Well, if you're going to do it, have the best player on the planet right there watching it. You know Finnie's going to be the guy when he's 52 years old. I stole the puck from McDavid and ripped that bar down. Not a big deal.
You know how good he's feeling right now, because when he went to go celebrate with the team when the buzzer sounded and the game ended, he went and gave Mickey Redmond a wink and a fist bump. Like, that guy's just he's got the juice right now, man. He's in the flow state, Emmitt Finnie. And had himself another great game. The stats aren't always there in the underlyings, and I'm not saying Finnie's been perfect start to end, but you can see him build to be better and better, and he works within the design of what Todd McLellan wants that top line to be doing, alongside Larkin and either Raymond or Appleton to this point, better and better. He, like you said, Brad, I know you're kidding, but at the same time, went up against Connor McDavid, the best player on the planet, and did that. Not just shut him down, but scored twice to kick off your NHL career.
Quite literally can't ask for more than that. And yeah, this was his first goal, but the previous 4 or 5 games, he had his chances. So It's not like this was just the fluke rebound that he banged in and good for you. We'll see you in Grand Rapids in a week. He's been buzzing. He's had several A-plus looks that, are just missing the net, or the goalie's making a good save. And you could feel it coming. Like, you could just, the chances were probably like for example, for MBN, I can't say the same thing. Feels like he's struggling to get high quality scoring chances, even though he's playing well. Finnie wasn't that. Finnie's like, okay, this is going in soon. He's all over it.
I do wonder how much of that is Finnie's line mates.
Oh, a lot. It's a lot of it.
Certainly makes your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, but it's not a bit like it's been there, and you've seen enough in terms of just the pace and the excitement and the energy and the quality of play.
He's decent in one-on-one situations too, which is where, your line mates don't matter. Like, he had a great play against Connor McDavid one-on-one today and shut him down. He's really good on the forecheck, getting in on defenders and on the board play. So yeah, if he wasn't producing, it's like, okay, why are you here? His defensive game and his ability to get on pucks has been a huge boon to this team as well.
Todd McLellan was asked after the Tampa Bay game. They were like, just asking about the kids, and he wasn't frustrated, but he was almost like, I don't know how many other ways to tell you guys this. Like, they're playing well enough to be here. Like, they are a big part of what we're doing, and they're like, they're going out there and they're getting better every game. They're making mistakes, but they're, learning from them, and they're contributing a lot on the ice. Like, it's so matter of fact, and it's not to be dismissive, but it's because it's real. It's not, hamming up a fun story for a guy who's going to end up, back down in a couple of games. Like, by all rights, these guys have continued to go against the grain of what's expected of them by reasonable takes and earn their spots and thrive in their spots, which include second pair, ton of minutes, top line against the best players in the world. MBN asked to do a lot within the depth of the team. And even, so that was, Larkin and then Finnie. The Red Wings were up 2-0. Edmonton made it 2-1, and then Detroit went up 3-1. Larkin's second goal of the game. At first, it looked like it might have deflected off Finnie. It didn't, but Finnie not just got the assist there, He also caused the disruption in front of the net that ultimately led to the deflection off of the Edmonton defender's skate and in the net. I think it was Ekholm. Like, he is all over the ice, and that was Detroit up 3-1. John Gibson, secondary assist on that goal. Both Red Wings goaltenders have a point this year.
Boy, I'm sure the internet is full of the jokes towards every Red Wing who doesn't have a point right now.
Every NHL player who doesn't have a point.
Yeah, who's the most notable NHL player that both Red Wings goalies are outscoring right now?
I'm just saying, what would you have? One, Evan Bouchard at 0 points, or Gibson and Cam Talbot for roughly the same price, give or take?
Oh my God.
With
No,
two
less.
combined.
That is definitely less.
Yeah, you're right. Less, $8.9 million. That is $1.6 million less than Evan Bouchard. Detroit goes into the third period, and Leon Draisaitl makes it 3-2. At first, I thought they were going to hold both Draisaitl and McDavid off the board. Draisaitl makes it 3-2, and then at the end of the game, Draisaitl has an opportunity. Puck in all alone.
Draisaitl had it, lost it.
Emmitt Finnie picks it up.
Many are saying this, and then the puck makes it up to Emmitt Finnie along the sideboards near center ice, and he grinds out, kind of has a rolling puck towards the net and scores the empty netter. What did you say? I need you to repeat what you said about Draisaitl's stick.
Oh, I just said if it was a little bit longer, maybe he would have been able to corral that thing.
Yeah, he just needed another millimeter of stick blade. That's already at like the theoretical maximum.
Have you seen the on Instagram? It's the guy who gets the driver, the golf driver that's like 20 feet long.
Yes.
And his swing is like 14 seconds in length.
Yeah.
That's what Draisaitl looks like with a hockey stick.
If you have that much blade and you're still going to whiff on the puck, you were going to whiff on the puck anyways.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to upgrade from the kayak paddle to the canoe paddle.
Is he at the maximum of what you can have at the NHL?
If there is a legal limit, he is definitely at it. But you know who else used a blade almost exactly like that?
It's Pavel Datsyuk.
Pavel Datsyuk. So
Yeah.
who are we to argue?
Fair enough. The Red Wings win 4-2. Gibson gets himself another win, and just the vibes are through the roof. Detroit is sitting atop the Atlantic right now. Number 1 in the division. They are second in the Eastern Conference. It's 6 games. I know it's just 6 games.
But they're number 1 without a tiebreaker. They are just straight up number 1 in points.
10 of 12 possible points to start the season after such an ugly home opener. The turnaround that hasn't just been like, not that there's been no good luck, but the turnaround that's not just been, fortunate, but a solid result based on their own actual play that they're putting out there. This team looks like they're playing different. They have new players contributing in new ways that you haven't had before on the Red Wings. They're changing the way they play. Their PK has been perfect over the entire win streak. A perfect penalty kill over the win streak, I believe, is 10 for 10 or something, their last 10 tries. Like, this has been has there been some variance in what's been deserved and not? Sure, but they've earned these points. And to get off to a hot start on a difficult schedule, I know Max Bultman called it, but genuinely, it's almost unbelievable.
Well, he had that rated as a 9 out of 10 on the boldness scale. So
He's a bold guy.
even he admitted, not likely. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a 9 out of 10.
Dylan Larkin, 2 goals, 2 assists in that game. I think those are tied for a career high in points, and did that while shutting down Connor McDavid, and Emmitt Finnie with 2 goals and an assist. Dylan Larkin is tied for 3rd in NHL points before we started recording the podcast, and Emmitt Finnie was tied for the lead in NHL rookie point scoring. So not bad. Casual 150.
Yeah, with a defenseman.
With 2 defensemen.
2 defensemen.
Okay, one of them is a very offensive defenseman. One of them might be one of the best defensemen to come out of the draft in a long, long time.
So
Matthew Schaefer.
What we're saying is he's alone in first place amongst rookie forwards.
That's right. That is what we're saying. One spot away from Zeev, man. One spot away. Eisman was trying to. My God. But Larkin, casual 150-point pace. We were joking in the bonus episode. We think he'll fall off and go to like 140, Keep it humble. But just everything has turned up for the Red Wings, and again, for good reason. You can't have asked for more of a start for Detroit here. So
if it comes down to a close vote, which narrative wins out for Rookie of the Year? 2 years removed from the 7th round, or first overall defenseman?
The NHL loves its poster boys, but we're going to be going to bat hard for the 7th round pick.
Oh, we will. I still remember the absolute war that went on in Mo Seider's rookie year with him, Zegras, and Bunting for rookie of the year, and the Red Wings fans were unbelievably obnoxious, rightfully so.
We almost had to fight the Steve Dangle podcast.
Yes.
I almost had to fight the Steve Dangle podcast.
I did tell Steve that about how we still have to have the charity boxing match between you and Jesse.
Oh, God. I'm going to need a few months of sleep.
You're going to need stem cell injections in your knees.
Yeah. Half your edits are my knees cracking.
Is it up to your knees now? It's usually your ankles.
Yeah, I know. It's not good.
Oh, God. Regardless, yeah, the way that narrative has shifted, or the fact that the Red Wings fans will be ready to do it all over again.
Oh, it'll be worse in a good way. Rightfully so. I'd like a 7th round pick, if he's even in the conversation for maybe kind of sort of, you can make a case if you squint for like 3rd in the Calder vote. This will make presidential campaigns look like a hobby.
The only thing going
Promise?
for Islanders Mainstay podcast is that Emmitt Finnie is not Swedish, because if he was, that's just a whole nother layer. They have to fight off us and the Swedish mafia, because we were talking to Steve about this and how their podcast made sweeping incorrect projections about some Swedish players and forgot about some Swedish players. They were feeling the heat from the mafia, and Steve made mention that one of the Swedish fans has sent something to his house and he's never given his address out before, so be careful what you wish for, Islanders fans.
I'll tell you, you feel it too, because they're awake before you are.
That's true. They're in the future. They're one step ahead of us at all times.
When I wake up in the morning, I see the European comments. I'm like, that was what was so good for Seider and Raymond in that Calder race. Is like it was a 2-pronged attack. While you sleep, we grind. Some other takeaways from the Red Wings. As someone who, I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but I used to play defense, but I've been harping on the Red Wings defense for so long. This is the best I've felt. Like it's one of those things where you don't want to move. Like right now, Evan, like when the baby is sleeping, I'm sure you don't want to move. Like, let's not make noise. Let's just let him sleep.
Well, he can't move. His knees would wake him up.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a gunshot in the middle of the night.
But you don't want to disturb anything, because the Red Wings defense has looked as steady as it ever has right now. Not without flaws. I'm not saying they make no mistakes, but these pairs from Seider, Chiarot, ASP, Edvinsson, and Johansson, Bernard Docker, this is the best it's looked in how long?
Since Lidstrom retired?
Probably, actually.
Maybe, yeah.
I would actually say literally, yes.
It's 6 games. I get it, but I can't remember the last time I felt like this for 6 games.
The only uneasy part about this is the drop-off from the 6th to the 7th guy is the Grand Canyon. Yeah. We are one injury away from 5-1 to prospect profiles at Christmas, it feels like. And I know that's obviously over-exaggerating, but we saw it game 1. Like, I think I'd be in the mindset even if it's Bernard Docker, with all due respect to Bernard Docker, the most insignificant of those 6, if he gets hurt, immediately need to make a trade. Can't let it go.
Saw Hamonic going up today.
Just the type of player the Red Wings have found in spades through trade.
Depth defenseman.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't that how we got Jake Wallman?
I know what I said.
Just don't ask what happened after that.
Yeah, I've... The only thing that brings me some solace is what's coming in the ranks. Like, you have Anton Johansson coming into the system. You have Bouillon and Will Linder who can slot in. Like, I for obvious reason, we don't have confidence in Hamonic, but there are other options that are coming in that will soon be, hopefully not Hall, Gustafsson, Hamonic. But yeah, right now I'm like, oh my God, this is working. At forward, you hope Raymond continues to heal up a bit here. He has a couple days off where the Red Wings are going to be traveling Wednesday and Thursday. They're in Buffalo and Long Island, respectively. And so you hope that extra day off gives him some rest. Kane, I don't know if he'll be ready for Buffalo. It remains to be seen, but at some point, obviously Detroit's going to lose again, but for now they have a lot of really good things working for them, and if they can continue to scrap out points here, even on the road, that would be a massive bonus for them.
The Red Wings and McLellan have a history of 7-game winning streaks. And listen, I understand the Red Wings beat a lot of good teams, and you don't want to overlook weaker teams on the schedule, but I'm not going to say likely, but there's a real good chance.
You have the opportunity.
Yeah, that's probably the best way of phrasing it. You have the opportunity.
Remains to be seen what happens. Plenty more to come about the Red Wings news, about what they've done, and then some trade rumors as well. But first, a word from our sponsors back after this. Welcome back. Just had a fun little tidbit. Someone tweeted at us, and I sent it to Prashant to see if he could find out. Ricky Bobby Shuffle says, this isn't a stat you can look up, but I have to imagine that this is one of, if not the quickest into the season that both goalies on a team recorded a point. Prashant figured it out in about 10 minutes. He said, with Gibson's assist today, both Wings goalies have picked up a point this season. That's the fastest two goalies have picked up a point in Wings franchise history, narrowly edging out 07-08 when Hasek picked up a point in Game 7 and Ozzy in Game 8.
07-08? How'd that year go?
Not bad. Not bad, Brad.
And they were a game better, so we're in the same conference, so I don't see how we beat Pittsburgh in 5 games in the Cup Finals, but we'll figure out who takes their place.
We'll find a way. All right, more Red Wings notes here. Names are starting to come up in trade rumors, and these are both unsurprising, but I also believe to be accurate to varying degrees. First and foremost, I think Elliot Friedman reported before anyone that Gustafsson's name is out there. The Red Wings are looking to move defensemen, and when that went out, people were like, what? I think Pinata said that, and then Friedman said it was Gustafsson, and I do believe that that's a situation where they're going to look for a trade for him, and it makes sense too, right? Like, Gustafsson didn't make this roster, but I think that he is...
There's teams who'd be interested in him. Like, he could play PP2, could get into a lineup. Like, I don't think he's unplayable, but based on how the Red Wings decor is shooken out this year, there's just not a spot for him. So, yeah, and I'm sure Steve Yzerman wants to do right by him, move on, and let everybody end this chapter. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm sure if the Red Wings are shopping around, there are teams where they could use him, and he's only making $2 million, which isn't a lot. And if the Red Wings eat half of that, $1 million's nothing to eat, and $1 million's nothing to pay if you're just taking a flyer on a 6-7 guy from another team. Again, I don't know everybody's second power play, but if you're a San Jose, and it's like, all right, we don't have anybody to play this role right now. Here's a warm body that can do it for cheap. And then if it doesn't work out for them there, again, they can bury his entire contract. I don't think there's going to be a return on him. You're probably just giving him away. But I also know from the Red Wings standpoint, and I don't know the details on it, but there's been a lot of chatter about veteran minimum or maximum issues with Grand Rapids roster where guys are having to sit every night that obviously don't and shouldn't want to sit just because of those rules, and obviously having Gustafsson and a whole bunch of other vets unexpectedly there only makes it worse.
Yeah. So that one, I imagine, I'm sure the Red Wings would love to move on from Hall as well. And I'm sure, it sounds silly to say, but based on how the preseason shook out, they're like, yeah, if someone wants to take Hamonic at this point, like you have Hall and Hamonic are giving you the same thing right now, whether I get that Hamonic's only played one game, but you can confidently say that it's in that same tier. If they can move him, they will, but it's way less likely, I think, than Gustafsson. And the other name that's been out there has been Berggren. And I mean, Evan, we were chatting before the show. It does kind of feel, barring changes here, that, there's guys on the fringes, and though they would be, good additions to the depth of, a good number of rosters in the NHL, the Red Wings are fixing to bring in Nate Danielson. The Red Wings are fixing to bring in Carter Mazur. The Red Wings are fixing to bring in other guys who are going to start to push for this team, Carter Bear, in a little while here. And so if they have someone who can make use of Berggren or someone else who they feel is on the fringes, I wouldn't be surprised to see them start to make space. And I know everyone starts to point at the Comfers before the Berggrens, but I'm telling you, the contracts make a big difference here, to state the obvious. Protection and length and AAV, Berggren would go, not for a lot, but he would go much sooner than a Comfer would, who they've been trying, I think, for a while.
Yeah, you maybe get a mid-round pick for him. And again, that could just be good for Berggren, good for the player, get him in the lineup somewhere else more regularly. Like you said, the Red Wings are not short on younger options that, in the case of injuries, they could bring guys in, and you're not worried about moving forwards out at this point because the Red Wings feel flush with forward prospects, where like a year and a half, 2 years ago, that felt like a dire crisis going forward. USHL, first in goals, Brent Solomon. And if you're listening, you're going, who the hell is that? Yeah, Red Wings draft pick. Fun. Max Plant's averaging, 2 points per game in the NCAA this year? Buchelnikov's having another great year in the KHL. Obviously, they're not all going to hit, but holy crap. Feels like a strength of the system now.
You're not in a rush to ship any of these guys out, but you're like, yeah, if we don't think that they're going to survive another roster competition next offseason, then if we can get something for them now, we have a flood of guys who are going to try to do the same thing that Finnie and ASP and MBN are doing this season.
And this doesn't mean to be a shot directly at Berggren, although it's going to sound like that.
No, he's just the name that came up.
Yes.
He is the representative of like all of those. Rasmussen is going to need a lot of attention too.
This would have been the argument 3 years ago for Rasmussen, is when you have all these prospects and you're watching it and you're going, yeah, this guy just really doesn't fit with what we're doing, or he's not as good as we thought we were, and we have a lot of guys, et cetera, you sell them while they still have value, right? Like Rasmussen, you probably couldn't give away at this point with that contract. Would have been nice to sell him 2-3 years ago when he was very highly regarded around the league. Berggren, again, not a huge reputation, but you probably get something.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's just good asset management. And by no means am I saying you absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have to trade him, because what are we going to do without that 5th round pick? But it's just,
the writing is on the wall,
Yeah.
I think, with some of these guys. And, you project this team one season out. You look into October of 2026, and you look into October of 2027. It's like, these guys aren't really fitting the bill in October 2025. And we know we've got another crop of rookies trying to do what happened this year. Like, those guys are the obvious choices to be taken out of the roster. And we've talked about this before. Nate Danielson comes back and is healthy. You take him, put him in the lineup, and he plays 4th line center, plays 3rd line center. This team is better. You put Carter Mazur on this team and you take out anybody on the bottom 4th line, this team is better. Like, it's the hard, cold truth about the NHL.
And like you both have made the point of, these are the kinds of problems you want to be having. Rather than guys just getting a free ride to the next year, they're being challenged. And you either make it or you don't. And it's early. Lots can change. Maybe one of these guys, Berggren, Soderblom, Rasmussen, someone, they find a groove and they pick it up because they want to stay in Detroit and this is where they want to be. And that's the beauty of the natural filter of you getting pushed out by younger, better players. You either put up or shut up, and you're going to start to become a journeyman if not. That's kind of the way it goes. Other Red Wings notes here, and I should have said this when we talked about ASP's first goal. October 17th, 1991, Nicholas Lidstrom and Vladimir Konstantinov, first career NHL goals. October 17th, 2025, Axel Sandin-Pellikka. 34 years apart. How cool is that?
Never say the distance or the length of time like that ever again.
Remember when we looked up before we started recording when Mantha scored his 4 goals in the home opener?
Yes.
Yeah, 6 years ago. That felt worse than this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nate Danielson earlier, it is believed that he could start to return as soon as next week in terms of skating and getting ready to go for gameplay. So he's going to need to tune up in Grand Rapids more likely than not, obviously here. But all eyes on him to see what he can do. I'm sure the Red Wings will love to add him if he goes out there and just thrives right away. Again, the Sabres and the Islanders coming up, both road games, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see how the Red Wings do. We'll keep all eyes on Patrick Kane and Lucas Raymond. But other than that, the Red Wings currently sitting pretty atop the Atlantic. It's a nice start. Let's get into NHL news. You guys see Stolarz call out the Leafs?
No, if this happened to if this was the Red Wings, this episode I would have lost my mind. Steve Dangle lost his mind. And the one thing I do love about Steve is it's over the top, but he doesn't tell a lie. Like,
he's passionate.
The Leafs have an identity issue. And if there was ever a season the Red Wings are going to make the playoffs, the teams that I thought were going to be the locks for the divisional seeds are really struggling.
Not as much as Ottawa, though, which gives me great joy. Didn't someone predict Ottawa to be divisional seed?
Yeah, we don't have to look into all that. So why are you guys looking into all the details?
Anyways, but
that would require me to go back and listen to an episode, and there's an off chance I'll hear my voice, and that's just never going to happen.
I can gaslight Evan into thinking it was him. I believe with his new father brain, I can do that.
I definitely had them in the playoffs.
Yeah, you did.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
But one of us definitely had him higher than the other two.
Listen, there's no coming back from putting up an 8th spot against Buffalo. There's no coming back.
That's
you
tough.
let these Buffalo Sabres do that.
Mason Marchment did his best Sam Bennett impression. Just shoulder to logo, and nothing.
And Carlo just looked at him.
He was standing right there. If there was any Leafs defenseman that you would think would do something about it, is it not Brandon Carlo? He's huge.
What did Steve call it? Confetti gloves?
Yeah.
Legitimately.
No, but again,
that's a big problem.
Yeah.
No, but again, legitimately. Well, we use them as the example for everything, but they're the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, so of course they should be. If that happened to Sergei Bobrovsky, is there a single Panther on the ice who's not immediately just throwing punches at somebody?
Anton Lundell would have drop-kicked Mason Marchment.
Paul Maurice would have gotten on the ice and tossed a few.
You know, Steve was the one who coined it, and we've talked about it a lot. It's a punk test.
And Craig Berube, it just shocks me that Craig Berube would have a team that lacks sort of that, tough guy we stick up for our players mentality, because, he was a mean guy, and I would be saying yes sir, no sir if he was my coach. Like, it's just crazy to me.
And then Stolarz also, didn't he call out directly, indirectly William Nylander for the lazy back check on the overtime winner?
Yeah, that was a tough look, tough coverage by Nylander.
Well, I know it was early, but some guys have been here a while. I'm like, how many times have we heard words like that about the Leafs?
Well, to be fair, when you have a noted goal scorer like Josh Mahura coming down like that, it's tough to stop. I know he's on a bit of a slump. I think that was his first goal in 100+ games, but he was due. So what was Nylander going to do there?
Wasn't his last goal against the Leafs or something? And before the game or something, he's like, "Give me the puck. I always score in this barn."
If he actually said that,
he said something like that.
That is absolute fourth line plug. Guy who gets healthy 2/3 of your nights energy right there. We've all been teammates with those guys. The funniest dude in the room. They'll say that and then they'll back it up.
That was Merrick Malik moment there.
Oh my God.
You'd think he would have played for the Leafs, having that kind of confidence.
He must have said something like that, because why else would he be on the ice in 3-on-3 overtime?
It's just so crazy it might work, and it did.
Oh my God, man! If your team got less talented, I understand everything that went into the Marner situation. And my God, the only thing that was worse than watching that situation play out is the fact that it's still being talked about. He's gone. Shut up. He's gone. You have worse things to worry about. It's in Toronto.
He's got a new hot girlfriend. He's not thinking about you.
He scored last night too, didn't he?
Twice.
Yeah.
Couple tucks.
This line has like 60 points in 4 games.
Dude, Eichel and Stone combined for 28 points through 6 games is disgusting.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like that team got worse. I'm not saying you have to get as, tough and mean and full of like goon energy that you offset that. But yeah, when you are lacking an identity and you get less talented, you got to will away to wins, and you have to grind through what is a tough division in the Atlantic, where like the fringy teams in the past, like the Red Wings, are all of a sudden winning 5 straight. Like, you have to find something in that team. We saw it in person, Evan, twice now over 2 different seasons. It's flat. It looks flat. And they haven't started 0-6 or anything, but you can. No one knows the woes of the Leafs better than Leafs fans, and they see the warning signs right now. They do.
Leafs fans may be mentally unstable at the best of times.
Hey, rightfully so.
They pass the sniff test all the time. They know when there's something wrong. Yeah, they're mostly insane. Yes, that is 100% true. But like I said, Steve wasn't telling any lies in his last LFR.
Man.
The best way to describe Leaf fans is they're out of line, but they're right. I do appreciate, too, the creative outlets that they find to call out the crap on things. There's a guy on Twitter right now who's keeping... This is the greatest tracker I've ever seen anybody have in hockey. Every time it happens, he posts a clip of if a scrum breaks out on the ice and Austin Matthews drifts into it but does nothing. Like he's actively keeping track of that. The captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Just because you got a porn mustache doesn't make you a sheriff. Like, you got to get in there and go and try and beat somebody up.
Well, I mean,
your head's massive. Just headbutt somebody. I have a big head. I know.
No, his head's not that big. It's just the illusion of his hairline.
I need to know, on or off the ice, have you ever headbutted someone in a fight?
Yes.
No way. That's
on ice.
Cage, visor?
It was first year university intramurals finals.
Oh my God. I thought for sure this was going to be a junior
season. Was the trophy in the building?
Oh yeah.
You got tossed?
No. Oh no, we won. So we were the underdog, like, first year team, and the team that we were playing was like the 4th year, like, guys taking like 7 years of university, like, had kids kind of thing. And we smoked them, and it, like, that arena was packed. It was like all our buddies, all their buddies. And we already had some real beef between us and them. One guy on our team speared the convener who was on their team. And the intramural, this is way off the rails. The intramural league was completely free, but you had like a spirit fund. So you basically put in $500, and it's like, if you do something stupid, you lose the money, or you lose like a portion of it. Yeah, we lost all 500 on that, but I think it was worth it. We set the tone. Austin Matthews would never.
Austin Matthews could not hang with your first year.
I headbutt this guy right at center ice.
Was that worth any money, or was all 500 for
it was
the spear?
The last game of the year. It doesn't matter.
No, but how did they say, yeah, we took away $250 for the headbutt, $250 for the spear? Or?
Oh, the spear happened like game 3 of the year.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. So you guys were the Panthers by then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was hitting in this league. Intramural hitting.
What?
Hockey. Yeah, we had some big boys on our team.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, if I had never told this story, I had the one guy I played defense on this team. My D partner was like 6'5", just monster, played tier 2 hockey. Really good. And so I'm like, when like the little dog goes barking at the big dog, and then all of a sudden the big dog does one thing and the little dog gets like poops its pants?
Yeah, Abby and Tully are familiar.
Yeah, so that was happening, and my buddy basically grabbed this guy's helmet and hucked it into the stands. But if you've gone to the University of Guelph, you have to walk outside and go up the stairs to get back in the arena to get up to the stands. This game was at 11 p.m. at night. There was nobody there to toss his helmet down. So buddy had to take his skates off, go up there and get his helmet.
The amount of Evan lore we're getting right now is
this is the Patreon exclusive stuff you guys are missing.
This is staying in. This is your teaser. This is what you get in Patreon exclusive episodes.
I haven't felt this alive in like 5 days.
since first year, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Headbutting?
Well, the lack of headbutting. Getting back to the NHL, I mean, yeah, we'll see how the Leaf season plays out, but right now, the lack of identity. They certainly don't have stories like that.
Tough times in Ontario.
Yeah, no kidding. Because the Sens looked like they had a win, and they let it go late there.
They are finding new and creative ways to not win hockey games. Late game blown leads, getting obliterated by the Buffalo Sabres. Listen, I have grown out of I enjoy starting fights on Twitter, so I haven't partaken. But the amount of quote tweets I have seen from a Red Wing fan quote tweeting a Sens fan that was shit talking before season is at an unbelievable amount right now.
I watch with a smile, but some trepidation. It's 6 games.
Yeah.
We've seen things. They're only 2-4, you know? Things can turn around very easily, but it is funny. They've not actually played that bad. They just have some of the worst goaltending performances in the league right now, the Sens. That's what I said in our preview. I was like, look, I think Allmark's a really good goalie. I think that did a lot for them. Is he an every year top of the league goalie? I don't know. And that's just purely vibes based, but
it's on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, I throw that away for goalies.
I know it's not as prevalent with goalies.
Cam Talbot's 36 and more ripped than all of us.
Yeah, well, that's because
that's a low bar, I know.
I haven't figured out if he's a robot or an alien robot, but I'm convinced it's one of the three.
That guy's in way too good a shape. Anyhow, one other NHL note I want to make. Did you guys see Paul Maurice's face when the ref, after review, was like, after reviewing the play, the call on the ice stands, we have a good goal. Oh, no, wait, sorry. It's no goal on the play. And then it just pans to Paul Maurice. He's just like, it's just straight up making the most Evan face I've seen in my entire life.
Just when he thought the NHL reffing couldn't get any worse. We're like 6 games in and he's like, never mind.
I reffed when I was younger. I'd never had any level like that, obviously. But it was hard enough to get the calls right. And then I always think, man, I can't imagine in a high pressure moment having to then get on a mic if that's just not what you do. And these things are bound to happen. I remember someone at a Red Wings game, I can't remember which ref it was, but he turned on his mic and just essentially had a stroke. Like he just said a bunch of gibberish. And I was like, poor guy. But this dude just flat out said word for word the opposite of what the call was. He didn't just get one word wrong. He's like, the call on the ice stands, we have a good goal. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, sorry. Paul Maurice is just like,
not today.
That was good. I wanted to point that out. Okay, I feel like we could talk even more about the Red Wings, but for now, let's take another quick break here before the final segment on this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. Back after this.
We're going to overtime.
Overtime is brought to you by our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/wingedwheelpodcast. If you want to support the show, you get access to benefits like our bonus overtime episodes. They record right after these main ones. We did pre-record a little bit today, but you got Evan's best overtime performance you'll ever get. And then he did get also a teaser in the main show, which I'm happy for because that is a lot of the energy in our bonus overtimes. All of our other bonus content, you also get access to our Patreon exclusive Discord, which is a awesome community. And you're automatically entered into all of our giveaways, and you have an opportunity to sign up for a giveaway where we send 2 tickets to every Detroit Red Wings home game directly to our Patreon supporters. So again, patreon.com/wingedwheelpodcast. Let's take some questions from our patrons. Zach Freeland, can't wait to see you at Winged Wheel Podcast night, man, says, what do you guys think the chances are that the team will have 6 Red Wings draft picks on defense when they're competing for a cup? So Evan, you and I talked about this, and it would, it's not impossible, but it would have to be pretty remarkable. It feels like 4 right now is quite a bit, and 5 would even be very doable. But it's just that top 4 left shot defenseman right now where I'm like, who can you confidently say would slot in there?
Yeah. Do I see a world where the Red Wings could compete for a cup? Seider on the top pair, second pair Edvinsson, ASP, and Johansson on the third. Yes, I can see that being the formula. You would need, again, cup contender, I would even argue Johansson probably can't be the best defenseman on that pair because you really have to have 2 second pairs. Like if you look at cup champions historically,
I think another Johansson would be good.
I think he's got a chance, but there is nobody in the system who has a chance in hell at slotting in opposite Seider right now. And you could say, well, just move Edvinsson up and then but then you're losing that really good top 2 pairs, which is what you need. So, because I like the configuration with Edvinsson as ASP as a second pair. I know Edvinsson's a first pair caliber D, and I know maybe even ASP would be. But
maybe
you have to be spoiled with that type of depth to be a cup contender. So I could see 5 as it stands right now, but
barring a surprise, yeah.
Hear me out. Buffalo once again goes down the tank. Dahlin says, "That's it. I'm out of here."
Well, he's not a Red Wings draft pick.
Well, I'm figuring out the top line lefty so that, we can make this all make sense. Red Wings put together a package, bring in Dahlin, that solves your top pair lefty. Then you can put whoever the hell you want on the bottom pair. I think you can make a third line pairing out of what Detroit's got in the system.
You could probably suffer that, yeah. Never mind what you'd have to pay.
Well, he's like, I'm only going to Detroit. I want to play with my countrymen.
That's right.
If you have Dahlin, Seider, Edvinsson, and ASP as your top 4, you 2 could be the bottom pair because they're never seeing the ice.
They just
promise
they crowdfund the bottom pair. It's like a raffle every game.
Yeah, it's the raffle draw at first intermission. You get to suit up for the second period.
It's like the little kids who get to go for warm-ups.
Look, for league minimum, I will dress and I will last the one shift it will take for someone to literally hit through my chest as my head stays still in the air.
That's the one game Austin Matthews is like, you know what? I am going to headbutt somebody.
No, look, if they make me that charity case and I go out there where they're like, hey, we're going to kill a Joe Schmo on the ice just to show you how much worse these guys are, and it's Austin Matthews who does it to me, I'd rather it be Jack Hughes.
I think if Austin Matthews took a shot and it hit your shin pad, your leg would just explode.
Yes. And also, would he do that to his fellow poor hairline having brother?
No,
That's
he
right.
wouldn't.
If he headbutted you in the right spot, you 2 would combine for one full head of hair.
Jesus.
How am I supposed to finish this episode?
The high chance is Austin Matthews would just take a slap shot at me for having a full head of hair.
Yes. Oh, we're off the rails today. Brian Munn says, who do you think all the teams are scouting in Grand Rapids? So to note, there have been a lot of scouts at Grand Rapids games. And yeah, I think they're looking at the Gustafsons, maybe the Hulls, maybe, Yzerman's looking on some other deals where he's moving around a lot of pieces, but the Hulls are in general, and the Gustafsons, those are the guys where they're like, could this guy be an add to our system? Like Brad said earlier, there's various needs throughout the NHL that aren't, premier slots. There are scouts often at Red Wings games lately, but a lot of that, if you look today, is Team Canada scouting for the Olympics.
There is something to be said, and I can't believe this is about to come out of my mouth. The Red Wings being 5-1 will make most teams around the league think they have a good defense group, and by all accounts, they kind of do. So teams might be thinking, hey, if a guy's not good enough to crack that roster, that's not a giant red flag.
Yeah.
Like in previous years, if you weren't good enough to crack the Red Wings defense, you were a middle of the pack AHL player at that point.
Yeah.
So might be something to that.
Patrick Laine with salary retained asks monetized legs and moist golf balls. I get that Patrick Laine has a role to play on the ice, which is just offense and like sheltered, offensive zone starts. I don't see it being worth it to me at this point unless it's coming remarkably cheap. And why would Montreal do that? I don't know.
If the Red Wings had a bad power play, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
But they have a good power play, so I'm less worried about it. He'd be more a guy that if he hits free agency and teams aren't tripping over themselves and you take a flyer on him for, 2, 3, 4 years to play in that Thomas Vanek role, sheltered third line, put him with someone who can get him the puck and just let him tee off. Great. Awesome. I'd be all for it. But as it stands right now, that's a tough sell for me.
I don't think this version of the Red Wings needs that anymore. And I think like you had Daniel Sprong, you don't need another.
That didn't go terribly for the Red Wings until the end, to be fair.
But it inevitably did in a way that we all expected. So I'm like, I see what's working for the Red Wings, and it's the whole team game, and they still need their depth scoring to pick it up. It would have to be a very cheap ordeal. Rasmussen and Petrie on a 2-0 breakaway says, maybe a bit early to ask, but do you think the Red Wings will re-sign Chiarot for a shorter, cheaper contract? With the rising cap, he's probably a $4 to $5 million player now. If the Red Wings have no other options, I hate to say it, but I could absolutely see them bringing him back short term. And if the Red Wings do have other options on their top pair, but they want to bring him back for depth, I could see that, but it would have to be cheap. I could see Chiarot getting paid elsewhere.
Bernard Docker's doing what basically Chiarot would do on the bottom pair for $1 million. Where I sit now is Chiarot's coming back on the first pair, or he's not coming back. Because that's the obvious need. And if you're scouring the trade market, if you're scouring for agency and everybody better than Ben Chiarot's telling you no, there are worse players you could play there. So you might have to just eat it for a couple more years, and it is what it is. But if you can find that guy, then it sounds harsh, but it basically renders Chiarot moot because you're not paying him $4 or $5 million to play on the bottom pair when you're getting maybe not as good a player in Johansson and JBD, but comparable for a lot cheaper.
Samuel Soderholm says, and this is going to be a two-parter because two people are asking about the Sabres, but Samuel Soderholm says, just read an article on the state of the Sabres, and they commented on how they are stocked on left D. Who out of Darlene, Powers, and Byram could we realistically get, and what would the cost be? And TJazz98 says, assuming the Sabres are bad, causing Darlene and Tage to request trades, who would you prefer the Wings go after considering all factors, AAV, trade cost, etc.?
If this goes south for the Sabres, it doesn't matter which one of them becomes available, you go all in.
I prefer Darlene.
Of course I prefer Darlene.
I prefer one of the best defensemen.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. So if Darlene, I don't care what you have to pay. Like the Red Wings are at the point now, futures are great to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to give up Carter Bear and a first-round pick and Buchelnikov and yes. And you don't think twice. You basically give the Sabres a list of like 7 players that are off limit and just say, fill out whatever you think.
I'm shocked that Kevin Adams has been given the runway he has. Like, and news coming out about how Staios really wore him down on the Norris deal, and like barring the Sabres turning this around, I think what TJ has pointed out is like it's not about whether or not they want to keep these players, because if you're the Sabres and you're rebuilding, you do it around Darlene, right? That's the obvious thing you do. But he is one of the players who has indicated, yeah, I'm not staying for that. You turn this around or I'm out.
And same with Tage. That solves hey, we all love Emmitt Finnie. But if I could have Tage Thompson there?
Sure would love to have Emmitt Finnie in your depth,
Yeah. MBN, Cop, Finnie, third line. Fire me up. With Tage Thompson, with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond.
Give them all the futures they want. I don't care. It's not going to be a McKenna year if you're getting those guys.
If they go full nuclear, just be like, all right, half a decade of first-round picks for Tage and Rasmus. Thank you. And I'm not even being funny. I would do it.
And on that note, Evan has to go because he now has a bedtime to do at home. I am the last remaining.
Don't let him fool you into thinking that has anything to do with his kid. This has always been his bedtime.
That is true. Yeah. We're going to wrap up this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Thank you to the sponsors of the show and to our Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/Winged Wheel Podcast if you want to support the show. And if you want to help us out, but Patreon's not for you, that's totally cool. You'll still get a lot of unfiltered Evan. You can help us out by subscribing wherever you get this podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Leave a rating, a review, the stars, a thumbs up, a like, tell a friend about the show. All of that really helps us out a ton. And also don't forget, Winged Wheel Podcast Night at the LCA, Saturday, November 15th as well. We hope to see you all there. Tickets are running out, and once they're gone, they're gone. To our name level supporters on Patreon, we could not do this show without you. Arjun Shanker, Aikfer, Martin Norberg, new name level supporter, welcome to the Dub Dub Club. THL champ, Samuel Soderholm, Icon, Glenn Brabham, Rain Dano, below average ball hockey goalie, Sea Lion, Darb EQ, Matthew M. Rice, Bingo Bango, Hassam Al-Qassem, Asher Killian, Kaylin Wood, Alex Toger, that's what I appreciate about you, Derek Enstam, Matt McKay, Andy Hardcore, Sam Bankson, Citizen High Five, R.A., Aaron Hudson, Admiral Matt S. of the Cheesebag Navy, the El Cato, Stephen Ortlieb, Jonathan Miller, Give Blood Fight Probert, DJ Denton, Carl Buchanan Analuski, Jay Gollum, John Ingalls, CB55, Connor Scovey, Adam Zuiza, Adam Rose, Who, Steve R, Hockeytown Matt, Mr. Kuzi, Chaotic Monkey, Craig Kibble, Iser Plan Stan, Clip Clop, Nene, Now I Have to Learn How to Click on a Macintosh, Podgy713, Griffin Not from Grand Rapids, Marty, Kozlov's Punch to Foot's Head, Jeff Pridemore, Eric Hill, Butts Carlton, Best James Bond, Beer League Legend, Alec, Mark Hernandez, Slim Smitty Cards, Grand Rapids Girly, Anna Sleeman, William, Kip Tira Jr., Mike Asher, Chris Black, August, Brian Munn, General Andy Bohan of the Cheesebag Army, Quaz, Lonnie Zone, Dylan Larkin Trade Sacrifice, Rhymes with Ripple, Matt Keeler, Linda Hall, Joseph Taylor, Confer, Michael Brandsegg-Nygard, James Van Riemsdyk, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, Jacob Bernard, Doinker, Aaron, man. Connor Leighton, As Good As It Gets, Jeremiah Dobo, Josh Yelton, Brad Simmons, Darren Fick, Bex, The Hodag, Baseball, Basketball, Wiener Dog, Short Sports, Commander Ben Baron of the Cheeseback Space Force, Sandeen Pelikca's Pet Pelican, Griffey Boy, JM Rhapsody, Frank Stanley, Rosie Posey, Ophelia, That Other Guy, Pucking Puck, Carl Thames, The Hat 123, Stephen A. Ron, Corey Prida, All Motor No Hands, Gene Sullivan, Roy Mudbutt, Big Cheese, James Pridemore, Upernadia, Drop the Puck, Eric Nance, Ann Stanislavski, Jim, Bellingham Acid Balls, our good friend Wings fan in St. Louis, Scott, Johnny Page, Lucas Raymond, Cops, Bubba, Gump, Lip, Trent Thorough, Grepsky, Evan Beckner, Return of Jambo, C.E. Hayes, Finnie to the Rafters, Jacob Marsh, Falkness, 91 in the Rafters, and I'm Still Stranded in Arkansas, Fight Night at the Joe, Andrew Shaw, Axel Sandin Pellica, and your second favorite patron. Thank you all so very much. The vibes are high. Let's enjoy it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to visit wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you'll find links to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find ways to support the show, like Patreon, official podcast merchandise, and more. And don't forget to follow us on X at Winged Wheel Pod, at Ryan Hanna, WWP, at Brad Crisco, and at Hockeytown Evan, as well as Winged Wheel Podcast on Instagram.
This message is brought to you by Greenlight Lending. Are you facing financial red lights on your home ownership journey? Don't have money for a down payment or closing costs? Struggling with your current mortgage payment or other debt obligations? Or maybe you have a complicated situation like credit challenges or self-employment income? At Greenlight Lending, they turn those red lights green with creative mortgage solutions for purchase and refinance loans. Their team crafts personalized plans with flexible closing cost options, competitive brokered rates, and innovative loan programs tailored to your needs. Whether it's finding the right loan or guiding you through the process, they're here to help you score your home ownership goals. Let's get you out of the penalty box and into the game. Head to gogreenlightlending.com to explore solutions or call Nick directly at 586-321-1888 for your customized plan. All loans are subject to credit approval, terms, and conditions. Rates and programs vary. Contact for details. Greenlight Lending, lighting the way to your financial future. NMLS 2676683, an equal housing opportunity lender, proud sponsor of the Winged Wheel Podcast.